more fierce, and neither have I. Maybe a couple of kilos heavier, as is the rest of the gang behind me, but you're going to be meeting all of us and talking about our favorite video game in just a moment. I'm Alex Richardson, and let's talk some Pro League. Look at our new digs. Evil James Bond villains. We're at the Intel Esports Arena at the Xfinity Analyst Desk, and we're all next to each other. It's very weird. It's very intimate.
For the first time, yeah, we're not locked away in the doldrums of the studio. We're actually
That's a huge mistake. I don't know who let me out of the padded room, but I'm here anyway.
So we actually have to wear makeup now and everything. It's weird.
How does it feel?
It's lovely. I like to look beautiful with you.
I like the lights and this kind of like concrete layer we're in, Matt. You think you can make yourself at home here?
Oh, I can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
100%.
It may be painful for the rest of you. Are you locked in here with me, Alex, or am I locked in with you?
Great movie. Love that. Matt Trivet and, of course, Henry G, your casters for the season. And, of course, I'm joined by the brains of the brigade. We do have Janko Paunovic and Chad Birchall as well. Gents, this is, we've got new digs, sure. We've got new teams to talk about. We've got a whole lot of fun to be had, and we're back for another season.
Chad's got a new home.
Oh, God, yeah. You're German now.
Yeah.
How is it
I'm
coming?
an official resident. Yeah, it's quite nice. I like it.
Yeah? Living in
it's
the
good
old Cologne.
Yeah, I got a beard too. Went for
have?
that one. Thought it might look okay.
It's a good look. I mean, it worked for Janko. Look at him. He's alpha as hell now. Did you see pictures of him before the beard? Can you remember that? I can.
There's
What are you trying to say?
there was a good picture around the major.
Yeah, you showed me it. It was fantastic. Anyway, guys, our experts are here and they are ready to rock and or roll. We have got some great matches for you today. I want to hear what our casters have to say as well, because they're going to be the ones shouting about it. But we have some main stage events. We basically have a rematch immediately. First game of the entire season, we get some Cloud9 SK in North America. But in Europe, we'll take a look at today's matches. FaZe versus Astralis is what we're going to be kicking yourself off with as well. You get some G2 FaZe, apparently. Fnatic versus Mouse Sports. You even get to treat yourself to that FaZe Astralis game. That's coming up a little later on in the day. But I mean, all round, gentlemen, you're going to be casting that left column. Henry, what are you looking forward to?
It's nice. We've changed things up. We're getting 6 games a day now, so there's going to be hard-hitting action all the way through today. It's going to be really exciting. The fact we're going to see FaZe twice as well, that's going to be great. Obviously, a lot of roster changes and some question marks around the likes of G2 with injuries and stuff like that. Fnatic looking very strong, and Mouse Sports better than ever. So this is a great first day for me.
Some people are putting a lot of stock into Mouse Sports this season, Matt. What do you reckon their chances versus Fnatic?
I think Fnatic's the better team there still. I'm not putting much stock in Mouse Sports. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot behind it with Oscar. I think Rops has stepped up. Sure, they're a better team, but they're still not a top contender to me. They're moving toward that direction, but I don't have them rated that highly. I'm more excited to see Astralis today, actually, with Majestic brought in. I want to see the changes that's going to be arriving there. I think Kjaerbye had his moments. I think obviously was the MVP of the first major in 2017, the E-League major last year. But I think that, that team kind of dissolved and fell off a long way, and I think Majestic is certainly different for them. Very aggressive. It's going to be interesting to see how they implement him right away.
We've got so much to talk about with these roster shuffles, and you've already hinted at a big one we'll be talking about today. Yes, Magisk joining Astralis. Goodbye, Kjaerbye. Lots to be said, but first, North America as well. That's going down later on with some of the same guys in this very studio, so you don't have any Counter-Strike to miss out on. And in North America, we talked about Cloud9 SK. It's the very first one. So if you're in Europe, don't worry. It's not past your bedtime. You should be able to check out Cloud9 SK. What about you, Chad? I mean, I imagine there is no other game to look past and surpass this as the opener of North America.
I thought you were going to say Renegades there, Alex.
You going for Renegades?
Yeah, the big one. That's a big fight going on right now in North America. It's lots up in the air, and I think Cloud9 have shown a lot of confidence in recent times, and winning that major has definitely helped them look even more as a danger, as a big threat to SK, and maybe that #1 spot.
Absolutely. I'm very intrigued to see how far this Cloud9 hype train can get before it does get derailed. Maybe we'll see a whole season of it, and we'll have your casters from North America shouting their lungs out about them. Anyway, guys, we'll be talking to you a little later on. That's, of course, Matt and Henry. They'll be casting for the majority of every single game you get today, and, of course, as in the coming weeks. But these boys, we have a lot to talk about. We have to first talk about roster changes. Matt's already alluded to one of them, which is, of course, the loss of Kjaerbye. We have Astralis now fielding a Magisk. And I mean, I guess we'll start there. They are playing today, Janko. And what did you make of it when you saw Device just taken aback, surprised that he's lost a teammate?
Yeah, I think it's obvious, the state of shock for Astralis that came completely out of left field for them, and they had to scramble for a player after that. I think you know, even though some of us thought that they're going to make roster changes, that there was going to be a Danish shuffle after the major, Astralis players were firmly, you know, believing in, we have the right 5 players, we're just going to go back to work. We feel like we haven't shown what we worked towards at the major, and that's it, just back to work. And then KRB disagreed.
Yeah, and I mean, if you kind of start brainstorming, Chad, when you think about Kierby's perspective, does his move make sense from whether it's a personal gain, whether it's from finding, you know, guts or glory? What does Kierby's move make sense, taking the Astralis shot?
I don't think under Astralis he's ever been able to play up to his full potential. You saw when they had Dennis standing in for Device and Rubino as well, that he actually played better Counter-Strike because he was allowed to be more aggressive. He was let off the leash. And from there, it was like old school Kierby in the sense of being able to be in the face on the T side, going for frags. There wasn't as much expectation on the team, right? Because they obviously won the first major of last year. That's where they started, and it just dipped from that point. When it got a bit looser, he looked like a better player, and maybe he can have that again under MSL.
Absolutely, and we do want to kind of just quickly address this new season. Astralis are here, and we'll be talking all about roster changes of all of those teams, but these are your teams. You can see for the new season, you can see Fnatic, Astralis, Na'Vi, Envy, G2. We have some new faces as well. In fact, you can see them highlighted in green. Space Soldiers and Ago Esports all hanging out and are going to be putting in a fight. Is it Ago or AGO?
I'm going to do AGO.
I think that sounds better.
I tried to find it on the Wikipedia to see what was going on there, but it doesn't have the definition. Anyway, North America.
It's North America are fielding less teams, if I'm not mistaken, as well. That's due to 2 teams unable to field rosters. Is it CLG?
Yeah, Misfits and the XLG team, they couldn't, you know, get rosters together for the season, so those 2 spots basically just got voided, and we have 12 teams in the NA division of Pro League. Yeah,
and I guess just briefly, you know, as we're about to investigate roster shuffles in our own league, I think the first thing we should probably do is actually just quickly highlight some of the North American roster changes, if there have been any. I mean, I guess one does stand out, and that's, of course, the Optic Gaming roster, who's just completely thrown everything. Is it even a North American team anymore?
Well, look, Stan and Shazam are doing their best to fly the flag in that regard, but it's just a crazy mix, right? It's just an absolute mixed bag. I don't know how this has come together. You have a North Academy player in the mix as well. Config just got thrown aside. He's ended up over there, and Cajun, well, he wasn't wanted at all.
I think it's interesting talking about, you know, KRB abandoning Astralis and all that going to North is Shazam just abandoning Sean Gears, right, to an extent. I mean, we remember when, you know, that there was that Shazam drama in Misfits that Sean said, well, I'm not going to play without him. Like, you have to get him back on the team. I don't really care. And now him going with Stanislaw as the in-game leader and the 5th player there, you wonder, well, what happened with Sean? Why isn't Sean that in-game leader and the 5th guy? They went with Stan instead. So obviously not all just down to Shazam, but for me at least, that was a bit of an interesting dynamic to how that roster was formed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we are going to go ahead and take a bit of a closer look at all of these roster changes. Though there are some victors and sticking together, there is a lot going down and a lot of team shirts swapping around. Let's take a closer look at that before we continue our conversation.
Roster changes isn't a new thing in the professional Counter-Strike scene, but during this transfer season, the drama reached new heights in Denmark. Kierby, the young star of Astralis, wished to enter a new chapter of his professional career as he signed with his team's eternal Danish rivals, North.
I'm not really afraid of taking any chances. I have really high self-confidence in what I am able to achieve as a player with this team. So I'm just looking forward, and I'm looking forward to prove people wrong that I can really perform on this team and improve.
But the transfer was quite the shock for the Astralis organization.
We were all surprised, especially the players that were playing with him for a lot of time. So about it, but life goes on and Astralis goes on, and I think sometimes changes are actually good for a team. This one came as a surprise, but I don't think it actually will damage Astralis that much.
But that was only the start. This began a ripple effect. Kierby took the position from Config, who were benched alongside Cajun B, who were replaced by Mert from the North Academy. This left a hole in the roster at the other Danish team, Astralis.
We have actually quite ambitious goals. We're going to find a 5th player who can do a great job with the other 4 and Danny, so I think for me it's just a matter of finding the right player.
The candidate was to be found across the Atlantic Ocean. This now meant that it was Optic Gaming who were in dire need of a player, but instead of acquiring just a single one, they did a full revamp featuring the benched Danes of Config and Cajun B. And as if this wasn't enough, besides all of that, the Danish team Heroic signed former North player and Astralis stand-in Rubino, to take over the spot for S-Tac. This has truly been a Danish shuffle.
And I'll let you go ahead and try and digest that as we try and find out who on earth came out on top. We did hint at Optic, and you can see there that they did find a home for the new North, or ex-North, excuse me, players in Config and Cajun B. But Janko, if I threw you completely under the bus and said, who won that shuffle? Not an easy question to answer.
Yeah, it's obviously difficult because we haven't seen the teams really play at all besides North at the Summit. But, you know, at first glance, I think North won the shuffle in a sense that they were the only team that saw it coming, right? They were the ones negotiating with Kirby and getting him on the team. And we saw in that VT from the Astralis guys, everyone was shocked, you know, like found out 2 hours before the press conference. So I think that's the #1 reason that they won. They were the ones basically pulling all the strings. And another thing is, Chad pointed it out, on Dignitas, Kirby also played with MSL, and that's where he really became a star and became the guy that Astralis wanted on their team. And he was really, really dominant. He was a rather aggressive player, had a lot of impact in games. That helped a lot for that lineup. So that's something that they probably, why they made the change. They want to do all that again. And the third one is when you look at North now, they have all their roles defined, right? They brought in Merz, he's the primary opper. You had Cajun, you have to remember, Cajun was a rifler. He only started opping because there was no one who could really do it. So now you have a proper opper, you have a star player who's aggressive in Kirby, you have an in-game leader in MSL, obviously, and you have players to kind of fill the gaps where necessary. It's going to be interesting to see how AZ performs now with this new lineup.
Perhaps we get to see more from AZ. I know there'll be no complaints across the board if we do get to see more from that player who has kind of been in the background for feels like a little too long.
We've been asking for it for a long time, but the one that stood out at Summit was actually Valde. He played really well, and he's a guy, you know, he came from Heroic. He made it to that North roster, and we thought it was going to be really good synergy with him and Config. One guy's quite passive, very clutch, while Config's very aggressive, and that just didn't seem to work out. So I think Valde can basically do everything. He's a very well-rounded player. He seems like he has a good temperament, and I think that team, they definitely have potential, and that #1 spot in Denmark is up for grabs right now.
Yeah, moving from the #1 to the #14, of course, it was relegation from last season where we had to turn our attention to now. Teams do have the potential to lose out. That is the big fear of the Pro League. You can get immediately no contention, no extra games to play. If you finish in that bottom spot, you will be relegated. And let's go ahead and remind ourselves how the last season relegations played out.
The wait is over. We finally have a conclusion to the ESL Pro League relegation matches for Europe. Fighting for true Pro League spots were the 12th and 13th place in the Pro League from Season 6, Na'Vi and Godsent, and atop of the Mountain Dew League, Space Soldiers and Ecstatus. While AGO Gaming's first place in the MDL League sent them directly to the Pro League. The first matches were played back in January, where Na'Vi sent Space Soldiers to the losers bracket along with Ecstatus after their loss to Godsent. In this losers match, the Turkish team Space took the win. That left us with the two deciding matches. The first one between our two Pro League teams. Here it would be determined who stays and who goes. The battle started out on Mirage. After losing the pistol round though, Na'Vi got it together. And with Symbol on the AWP, who doesn't really have to even look to get the kills, they built a comfortable lead and rode that all the way to a 16-10 victory. From here, Godsent took over. On Inferno, they were off to an early lead, and with aces like the one Twist pulled off, you deserve to win.
This is Twist, who is accompanied by Freddy B on the side. Never mind, Freddy B is very far away. Twist has to step up alone in the 1v1.
And so they did, 16-14. This brought the fight to the third map, Cobble, where the two teams were neck to neck. But thanks to Simple killing foes left,
Backs himself off, goes through. Simple, what are you doing? He's going in, he's got the no-scope as well, close range.
and Electronic killing them right.
It's a connector over towards the crossing flame. He will not be able to get too much done from this position, but he doesn't care when Electronic is there.
Na'Vi lives to fight another season in the Pro League. Godsent, on the other hand, had just one chance left, the losers match against Space Soldiers. This began on Cobble and was almost over as quickly as Santares can gather USP headshots. Ending 16-14 in favor of the Turkish soldiers. On Inferno, the map was pushed into overtime. With a bomb plant from Godsent and a 2v2 situation on Space Soldiers map point, Godsent was putting up their best fight. But even their best turn out not to be good enough, and Space Soldiers closed the map 19-16. And with that, Godsend says farewell to the Pro League and joins Ecstatus on their way to the Mountain Dew League, while Space Soldiers are heading up along with Na'Vi.
Well, I mean, we did see Na'Vi keep their head above water. Goodbye to Godsend as well. The Swedes, that there was expectations surrounding them, they could not quite meet. Survive was the target we gave them, and they couldn't manage to bring that one. But Space Soldiers and AGO, I mean, this is where I'm going to have to turn to my experts and quite genuinely beg you for information. I mean, Space Soldiers, we know a bit more about, Yanko.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a great run at the major, making it through the new Challenger stage into the new Legend stage, and they had really tough opposition there, got some good results, couldn't make it quite into the Legend, new champion stage, the top 8, but they've definitely shown promise and show that they're probably a lot more comfortable playing on land than online. Playing for Turkey, from Turkey you have the ping issue amongst other things, so I like the look of the Space Soldiers right now.
That man on the screen right there, Alex, that's Matchday. He was playing 1.6. I was watching him back in the day, right? And he's the veteran of the team, and he's also taken over that in-game leader role. And if you watch his interviews throughout the E-League Major, he's just very poised, and he had a really good attitude, and he led the team. He was like a general. We had a lot of clips of him, in pauses, basically dictating to the team, and that was very exciting to see. And then, the major run from them was better than I think we all expected. And that's something coming into this season of Pro League is very exciting, because there are teams that you'd consider below them. I think the only issue these guys have is the fact it's online. They might complain from Turkey is a bit of a problem. And then, Zentaras and Calyx. But if you look at these guys, this is AGO. These guys actually beat Space Soldiers at the Mountain Dew League Finals and won the whole thing. So we don't really know too much about these guys unless you dig real deep. You look back in the history books. I actually played a major at the same time as Groovy and Furlan. When I think they were called Vexed, and then they played in the next one, which was Cologne, maybe as E-Battle. E-Battle.
It was E-Battle.
Yeah. So, they've actually played on the big stage before, and playing at a major is nothing to
but
turn your
there's
nose
always
at.
been that tag attached to them of like, oh, we don't know who these guys are. We have these no names in one way or another, but yet they still frag and they've still got to this stead. But now they've found themselves consistent tier 1 opposition. This is a huge upgrade for them.
Yeah, I think something that also needs to be noted is, the level at which they're at, which is you don't get invites to tournaments, you maybe get invites to close qualifiers, so you have to qualify your way through everything. That's like a slaughter, That's something, I'd say this every time. If FaZe has to qualify for every tournament, they don't make it half of the time.
Right.
Because it's just so difficult. You have a lot of best of ones. It's online. You don't know who you're playing against and so forth. So I think for these teams, actually qualifying for something and having like a stable league or whatever environment in which you can compete in is a big step forward.
It certainly is, and we're going to take a step forward in this pre-show. We're going to go start talking about Fantasy League, everyone's favorite.
Fun.
Yep, we're going to get the gang involved as well. Everyone's back in. We do have, of course, your casters, Henry G and Matt, who are going to be standing by and going to be talking to us a little bit about this one. But Fantasy League, you guys have been making your teams. We have, who was the champion of last season? I think Harry, actually. Just Harry smashed it.
We don't talk about last
Nothing
season.
important
We don't talk about
Last season was last year.
I did pretty good. My strategy of just picking 4 SK players the whole season.
Was it just? Didn't you
that
have a
worked out
fifth
pretty well. I
curveball?
came second with that.
You came
so
second
that
with the
wasn't
SK.
bad. So that's a top tip for anyone who's want to get involved.
It's also low maintenance.
It's very low maintenance. Didn't log in once. So there you
Best
go.
type of girlfriend. I didn't even make a team last year.
Me neither.
I was late to Pro League and no one asked me, so I just didn't get to be a part of the fun.
Well, you guys can make sure you get
Fun.
involved this time. Right?
Chad, have you got some pictures of this season?
I definitely, Yanko and I have actually,
you've been rocking
because we're very competitive, right? This is how you prove you're the best analyst. So I've got Yanko's team
Also,
up
I
here.
get paid for it, but...
Hey, look, this is Yanko's team. Yanko, what's the thought process?
Yeah,
behind this
here
map?
is, you obviously have Simple, no matter how bad his team is and how
Jeez.
lousy Na'Vi looks, Simple is always there to deliver. So that's a no-brainer, basically. Magisk, Astralis is playing a lot of games week 1. You feel like coming straight off the bat, he's an aggressive player, can make a lot of things happen.
Playing LDLC as well.
LDLC, yeah, that
Whipping Boys.
That helps a lot. And then Crims, I really like how he's played in the new Fnatic. I was like, between him and Lekro, I wasn't sure who to pick, but I went with Crims. And then Device, again, Astralis has 4 games, I believe, in week 1. So, he's the second star player. He's very cheap.
He's a bargain.
He was under 1,000.
$900
FNS as well.
And the fact he's moved
reasonable.
to his new role as well, that's great. The fact he's back Norping now, so
$900,
yeah.
I think that it's obviously the witness protection program keeping FNS's face black there, but he's worth a lot in this because he's already taken down a single-handed team himself. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, with all that being said, how can you not pick FNS? I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, well, you've gone and done that. Now, Sponge, I know you didn't reach too far in North America. In fact, I'm looking through your roster right now on my magical card.
Look, I've updated it since then.
Oh, you've changed it?
Yeah, no, mine is
Look at
Magic's,
him back
Oscar,
in.
Simple, Azza. Of course, I had to get an Aussie in there. And I also got FNS for the same reason. Single-handedly taking down teams.
You went for 4 players consistently last season. You changed that strategy up. Didn't really work out for you last time?
Yeah, I want that number 1
Chad,
spot.
I like your shirt,
Okay.
by the way.
Yeah, yours too, man.
Oh,
It's nice
hang on
to
a
see that you
second.
know how to iron.
Who's got a straighter collar?
Oh,
I think Chad's taken this one.
100%.
Oh, you've got buttons. You could do your buttons.
Did you have the makeup lady iron yours?
Nah.
There's your problem.
Ah. Or you could just dress like a homeless person, then there's no need for an iron. Just cover yourself in cat hair. That's the machine way. Anyway, let's go ahead and start getting some predictions on the cards. You already made your... I mean, are we predicting for the season? Is this what we're talking here? Like, I mean, what's your expectations for, like, say, a top 6 and a bottom 3?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we
Just a guess.
just a wild guess.
Just a wild... Honestly, I have no
Must be
idea.
It's like we rehearsed this or something.
It's almost like we did, yeah.
Almost.
But I mean, if we started kind of brainstorming about this one, I feel like there's actually, or at least when I was asked to make a kind of top prediction, top 6, bottom 3, it kind of felt like there was just a very clear separation between the 6 names I was going to put in that top 6. The order was hard, but you disagree?
I think between like 5 and 8, it can get pretty murky because, you know, we see throughout these seasons, if teams don't come in swinging, they lose some games that they probably shouldn't. And then when we get to the final week, they're scrambling and they have these really big matches they have to win. You know, maybe Na'Vi forget to do their veto and end up playing Cache like happened like several seasons ago and just that kind of stuff. But here they are right now, and I think, you know, FaZe have to be, for me, the favorite here because they haven't changed roster. They've made it into all these finals and stuff. They have all those stars. We always talk about that. Mouse Sports have impressed me enough, and it is online Counter-Strike, synonymous with being onliners, so I have to put them there. But I messed up. I put G2 as 3rd. Now, Shox' injury is going to play into that, right? So G2's probably not going to have him for the entire season.
Yeah, I also have them at number 5, but it's also, he's going to play week 1, and then he's supposed to come back in April before DreamHack Masters Marseille, but I'm not sure when, so he might play more or less games. But even with Smith as a stand-in, I feel like G2 has enough firepower to make it, and I put Space Soldiers in relegation. That was probably the most difficult one for me, because I think they are really good, and I only did that because of the fact it's online and they have to play from Turkey. When you look at Pro League, like from 1 to 6, I don't think it really matters because the seeding isn't as important. Even though I like the new system for Udense with picking like who goes in the other group, but there's just like with best of ones and online, it's very difficult to, you know, predict where someone's going to come 1st or 3rd. So I think it comes down to who qualifies, and
that's
we pick the same teams.
We had same top 6.
Yeah, just different order.
I want to know, who did you have, Alex?
Well, I wrote it down and handed it to someone. I don't know if they gave me a graphic for it.
I'll just tell us now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Do you remember off the top of
We're
your head?
sorry, you know all
There
the
it
teams
is,
off
Alex.
by
See, we
heart.
did have you prepped up.
That's me. Yeah, I gave Mouse Sports a lot of credit, which is why I was so offended, Matt, when you said
This
you're not
reminds
giving
me
them any
of
love.
someone else's
Listen, I think they're
predictions.
getting better. I think
yeah.
they're doing well. I think
You just
Oscar's been
copied
fantastic.
No, hold up.
but-
That's okay. I actually have Alex's written down here.
did? Thank you.
They've just whacked mine up. Alex's, if I can,
I did give Mouse
find
Sports some
it.
credit.
The Golden Boy.
Alex had. Here we go. He had number 1 was FaZe.
Thank
Number
you.
2 was Astralis.
Yeah.
G2 is 3. Fnatic as 4, Mounds as 5, and North as 6. But
Okay.
here's where it gets real
I
spicy.
agree with Fnatic ahead
Oh,
of
it does get
Here's where it
spicy. I
gets
forgot
spicy.
about this.
12, he's got AGO. 13, LDLC. Who's he got in that last position? Henry, I'll give you one guess.
Navi.
NIP.
No, Navi.
Navi.
Navi, he's gone
I
Navi.
said it. I'm sorry, but I can't. It's not last year again.
No faith
That
in
can't
Simple.
happen twice.
Okay, I will explain my answer. You know how you have to, there's a dotted line, you have to explain your answer. I genuinely don't know how long this roster's going to last. I think they've taken too many
imploding.
hits. Like Simple's a ticking time bomb.
But he's on a 2-year contract though. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but are you really going to want? I mean, he's not going anywhere. But is his gameplay going to go anywhere? I think he's
I
going to be a
disagree.
grumpy goat.
I disagree. I think the bigger issue with that roster is how quickly they can get Electronic on board. I think he's looked better over the major. I think they looked better and better each day at that event.
I think strategically they've looked the worst of all time. I think Zeus
I'll
is the
agree
one
with
that has
that.
to go.
I'll agree with tactically they're still not there, but in terms of frag potential, they've
Yeah.
certainly improved over the major in my opinion. So maybe Zeus goes, but I don't think Navi is a ticking time bomb as an overall unit. I think the core is still going to be
Sticking
there.
around. All right. Well, Electronics certainly does seem to be a bit of a glue at this point in time, just kind of keep the roster together, everyone running in separate ways like wild horses. But we do have to start getting on track with our first game. You're going to be hearing more from your commentators when we do get into this one. It's going to, of course, be G2 versus FaZe up first. And the guys actually over at the caster side have just been talking about injuries. You just mentioned injuries. I'm going to talk to our analysts here, 1K and Chad, because Shox has announced very publicly and very clearly that he is not up to par right now. He's not on top form.
Yeah, he even tweeted today, I think just, some time ago that he's still feeling pain, but he's still able to do some edge shots, so you guys don't need to worry. I think it's obviously going to affect his performance to an extent. But I like it in a sense that it's something you have to do, right? Health comes first, and seeing these players get ahead of it and just, getting in good shape and realizing that this is not something that's just going to go away by itself. You need to treat it. So I'm sure that G2 will be fine in the month or so without Shocks. He's going to play the 2 tournament Star Series and Katowice with them, the lands, and then he's just going to be away for the online games, and that's what you want. You want the Shocks to be 100%, and this is something that needs to be done.
He's having surgery. I just want to kind of fill everyone in. So he's got a wrist injury, and he's having surgery to perfectly coincide, so he's healed for the major, which is I can't think of a more logical conclusion to that. If you know you've got to have surgery, be ready for the major.
So the thing is, like, even when I was playing, it would get to the point where it would hurt if you deathmatch for too long, right? And I'm one of the older boys. I'm 28. I'm looking at 30. It's getting depressing. But, that would happen. I think it's pretty common for people. Azza in my team, he had that. You still started to get the same thing, and then they would start to do stretches, right? And we obviously had Olaf and Guardian, who are going up against G2 right now, who have both had injuries when they were on Na'Vi and Fnatic, and they were both potentially at their peaks or, peak performance at that time, and they definitely dropped off. Olaf went missing for an entire year. It's only recently, since he's joined this FaZe roster, that we've seen him looking, like his old self in any degree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the players, fortunately, who is fully fighting fit is Apex. He spoke to our camera crew as we were talking about the style that G2 bring into the server.
As terrorists, now Shoxy went back to lurking role. I feel like we need him to be the star player as he was with G2 first.
So I remember NBK was calling on the CT side. Is that still the case now?
No, it's not anymore. We came back to Shox because we need this leadership. If he doesn't have the CT side, he has less leadership on the team. So it was needed, but he managed to take everything that NBK created for the team and all the setups, all the principles and all the stuff like that who are now in the team, and he kept that, and now he's calling with both IDs, I would say.
Boom, Apex there talking a little bit about it, and of course his little foray into the leadership structure as well. We know he's been leading into Mirage, and G2 had been dropping some bombs there, so all round interesting to hear from Apex as he's been finding more of a voice within the team. Chad, why are your ears and eyes so
Look,
quiet?
this just in, Alex. I got some breaking news coming hot off the presses. Actually, Lauren just let me know. Little pansy. We have Dennis to NIP replacing Exist.
From Mouseford, yes.
No.
Congrats,
Then he played for Godson as well, and then he stood in for Charlotte. That Dennis. Okay. That's the breaking news.
The good Dennis.
So Exist.
I was excited
the big D, not the little D.
The big captain,
yeah. So I wonder who's going to in-game lead.
Ooh.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it's going to change.
I think I'm just happy that the change was being made.
Yeah.
I think Dennis, for sure, this was the rumor, but then the Astralis thing happened, and then you wonder, well, maybe Astralis is going to get him now because they played so well together at Blast, but they went with Magus, so...
Yeah.
Dennis definitely belongs on the big stage.
I'm just happy, he has found a home. We were wondering where Dennis was going to end up, but we are going to be jumping into this one. He certainly wasn't going to G2. I don't think he's been brushing up on his French as much as he hasn't been brushing up on his Danish, which is why finding him in the Swedish roster, otherwise known as NIP, is going to make more sense. We get to see him on that big stage in front of a big crowd, just like that. You can see there, they were very, very happy to be making that splash. And we still haven't really been able to pinpoint G2. Kenny, though, finding that feeling. Of course, this was over in the Pro League finals where they did take home that
with the
trophy.
style that Apex was just talking about, right? We've been saying from the beginning that Shox has to be like the star of the team with Kenny. It needs to be that duo, then Apex is that third star, and then Body and MBK, they do the supporting stuff. You can see MBK having fantastic performances every now and again, but it's more of like, it's an anomaly, right? It's not happening all the time. And Body has his moments as well. At this point, Shox has to be the star. Even if he is doing the in-game leading, he needs to put himself in positions where he can frag more and have more of an impact, because we always talk about this G2 roster and their style not being consistent, and that's what we don't think. And we said this even after they won Dallas, that we didn't think that they would win, or be consistently the best team in the world. And they did have those ups and downs. They definitely, that they won Malmo, but then from there it was just a mixed bag of results. So this team needs to find more consistency in their playstyle.
I think the proof of that is the major, right? With Shox in that role, they were the most dominant team coming into the playoffs, and then they got bested by Cloud9, who went on to win the whole thing. So I think that is the way to go for them. Obviously, it's a bummer that now Shox has to undergo that wrist surgery, but when that gets all completed, it's going to be very interesting seeing G2 play if they can maintain that sort of a play style.
Yeah, and they're going to be going up against FaZe. Now, apparently the game is almost ready, so you're going to get these boys jumping into the action. G2 FaZe, gentlemen, let's start with a bang. Thank you so much. That's Chad, Yanko, and myself. Now over to these two. These two lovebirds. Sidicus and Henry G, your first cast, new season. You're going to go in loud, I hope?
I'm going to build myself up. I think
Okay.
we have not done 6 maps before at Pro League, so we're going to get ourselves into it. Exciting games. I'm going to be bringing more of the kind of analytical stuff. I'm not sure.
It's in the mail.
Yeah?
Let me know if you open the envelope, and we'll see what's inside.
All right, then. Well, that sounds exciting. But yeah, it's a great way to kick things off, Matt. It's going to be G2 versus FaZe, 2 of the hardest hitting teams we have in Europe right now. G2 with a bit of a caveat coming into this one.
Sure.
I believe Shox is still playing, correct? But he's still...
First week, yeah. Week 1, he agreed to play before going into the surgery at the end of the month in March, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, G2 coming into this has looked very sharp. I think that going into the major, in fact, playing some of the best CS we saw from them, went through stage 1. They obviously had to qualify, or the round of 24, 3-0.
Sure.
They then went 3-0 again by beating Cloud9 in their opening game. Met Cloud9 in the best of 3, obviously, in the playoffs in the top 8. And I think Richard said it on the desk at that event. Whoever won that series could have won the event. Turned out to be true. Cloud9 went on to win it in an absolutely historical run, but G2 was right there with them in every way, in every regard. And I think that changing the rules around has definitely invigorated them in a lot of ways.
It was a little bit anticlimactic that the fact they went out in the first round of the playoffs, but that's kind of the G2 we've come to know quite commonly, I have to say. They do amazingly in the group stages, and as soon as it comes to the playoffs, they seem to drop off. It doesn't look like the same team we saw in the beginning of the tournament. Like you said, though, up against Cloud9, who went on to win the whole thing, you have to kind of take that with a slight pinch of salt, considering the form Cloud9 are in right now, and the events they keep winning. They're in the final of the Summit recently as well. Well, here we go then. It looks like we're almost...
Well, I was just saying, in many ways, that this could have been the final. If they had beaten Cloud9 in that series, this could have been the major final that we didn't get. This could have been the other side of it quite easily, as FaZe versus G2, and you know, all right, hypothetically speaking, who wins that, you don't know. But again, the form that G2 was on for a lot of it was quite good. You pointing out something on the roster, Robben is suddenly
is that like
shown.
No,
as
just
in there.
a
Yeah,
graphical
that's
error.
a graphic. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
all right.
I was going to say that is a nice little surprise we weren't sure of, but that won't be happening by the looks of things. Chad just nodded his head, or shook his head, I should say. And we'll get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. It will be FaZe on the CT side. We'll have Karrigan, of course, with the defuse kit and the smoke. Upgraded pistol for Shoxy, and Body with the utility here. It's going to be aggression towards B from the CT forces. Watch out for Rain. Pushing up towards the box there, bathed in by Guardian, but a fast speed flick coming in as Apex opens things up.
Start. Still MBK goes in a little bit further. Guardian not even aware that they'd gotten in toward the checker room, was easily able to take him down. Shox will therefore be able to walk in and get the bomb plant on site. Still a man down. Kit for Karrigan to work back in with as Shox will continue to stand ground and look toward heaven. He won't overpeak. No need to look toward tree just yet. It will go for information now because Olaf's been pushed back by MBK, so he's got to figure out if he's going to be pushed in by the boxes. Doesn't even matter. Good retake from FaZe. Both kills concisely. Shox couldn't do much in the 1 versus 2 with his teammate so far away.
Guardian stepping up there. 3 kills for him. Headshots aplenty. 3 players surviving for FaZe overall. It's a fast play from G2 there, going quickly towards middle, towards that B bomb side as well. They got the first kill from the vent. It seemed like it was going to go very well for them. Bomb planted, and in true G2 fashion, they will be force buying here in the second round. Usually by the AKs in the third, but they're not messing around whatsoever. They've gone for CZs, head armor across the board. As you can see, utility as well. A few Molotov chucked into the mix. We'll see if they can get anything done here. This is slightly unorthodox, but as far as G2 go, this is pretty much standard for them. They're going to have Molotov towards checkers right now. All 5 players towards B. No options to fall back here. They've got no map control anywhere else.
Push the smoke for Body. Rain's still sitting behind it in the corner. He can't find the gap he's looking for. He's trying to be patient. Pays off. The kills for G2. They've made it close, and Rain, he finally got what he was looking for. I thought he was going to get stuck out there. I thought actually they would run by and get to the site before he actually got a chance to peek, but it works out in the end.
Now let's discuss that idea. The fact that G2 are force buying in the second round, some people might think it's a little bit strange, but you think about it, CTs, there's a chance they'll get FAMASs and SMGs, and you've got a real chance to CZ. If you can get close range, you can go toe-to-toe with those sort of weapons and have the advantage almost with the run and gun potential. As you can see, they find the frags, but Rain, dodging and weaving through the smokes, manages to find 3 kills in total and shut the round down. He's going to find almost certainly the 3-0 for FaZe at this point. Has to be the full eco now for the French side. There will be a deagle in the hand of Apex. I assume he's the one boosted up. Indeed he is. Karrigan, though, ready and waiting. The nade doesn't do much damage there towards the boost position. Karrigan MP9 trying to farm some cash. He knows he has a chance to find a few kills himself now. First, not the cleanest of kills. Guardian will actually take the frag in the end. Guardian gets a second. Olaf Meister with the third. And it looks like it will indeed be a clean sweep as Kenny escalates with Deagle. Might be able to take Karrigan down there. Yes, I thought he would. And he won't get another one, but there it is. Body left in a 4 versus 1. Got the bomb in his back, but that won't be planted anytime soon. His best bet, try and pick up that Deagle that was dropped from boost. We'll have a look and see if that's available. Is it? It is indeed. There it is, and he'll just try and get one more kill. That's about as good as it'll get.
Get into the gun rounds. So no bomb plants. Round number 3, 3-0 for FaZe. Remember, each game, despite being doubleheaders, are treated as a best of 1. Don't forget that.
Indeed.
So
Oh, okay, MBK with the Krieg. All right. There's 2 Kriegs, Matt. Is this a new thing?
Yeah, I saw one and thought fair play, maybe missed by, maybe intentional. We know Magiska's elected, but 2 on Cash. Is this a way to get some angles? Let's find out.
There are long-range duels towards middle, I guess. You can boost it up, and Body's taking it towards middle. I've never seen this before. This, I can't really analyze it for you. There's no real meta that kind of...
Clearly intentional.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But where are they going with this one? Like, so anyone's not aware, this weapon is $3,000. It has a right-click zoom on it, which doesn't operate like a scope. It's more like a Call of Duty sort of style scope. It's like
2 times
yeah,
scope,
exactly,
2 times PUBG scope.
Yeah, it's something like that. And it does change the shooting actually when you kind of change the shooting style. It goes a little more straight as Shoxy will open things up. He takes down Rain. That's not the Krieg coming into play just yet.
The other cool thing about the gun is there's 0 fall-off damage, 100% first bullet accuracy for headshot potential. Krieg goes down. Body drops. 1 of 2 of them on the ground already. They get the trade immediately. Olaf has to rotate over to B as a result of a good flashing from Olaf, and he gets NBK as well. So 2 cut off trying to work toward the B site. Bomb's going to rotate back toward A. Thankfully, that site wide open. Rotations worked, but this I don't even think was intended to be a fake. This is a recovery at this point in time. Guardian's still near enough on Highway. Good plays. He finds Apex jumping up.
Yeah, here we go. Kenny S. One of his absolute best maps, Cash. We'll see if he can manage to get anything going here. Remember, though, he's got glass cannon, no armor. That missed shot should cost him. Nico takes him down. So as usual, I always say this, when there's Kriegs are purchased, a lot of players that have kind of flirted the idea of making the thing. I've never seen a kill posted in a pro game. Like, it's always, they come out, it gets shut down, then you won't see them again. So G2 trying to change things up. Maybe in practice it's worked a lot, and they realize, okay, this guy's actually pretty cool. We should try and make this a thing. And he gets shut down there. As FaZe go 4-0, they'll pick up the double orbs now. Be Nico and Guardian. Great thing about this team is they do have versatility in their AWPers. They can change things up. Pretty much everyone but Rain will be happy to AWP on this side, but Nico will be on the secondary AWP for now, yet to die on 2-0. Bomb going down, and with 4th stage loss bonus, G2 can bring a buy just about. You can see Kenny S just with the pistol there. He's gone for armor and a bit of utility instead. Apart from that, Matt, we've got no grenades whatsoever on the front side. 1 smoke and a flashbang. This is not ideal. There is no way to execute on the site. They haven't got the AWP, as you can see, as Shoxy gets taken down by Guardian there. 5 versus 4, job done for FaZe. They can just fall back now. They know there's a buy coming through. They've heard the AK shots, and they'll just hold up and wait for the next move to come in. As G2 don't have anything to work with here, how do they possibly get onto a bomb site? My only option I can see is go towards B and smoke CT spawn and hope you can overwhelm the bomb site and towards upper as you make your way towards the site.
Body trying to work win from Sunroom as MBK takes down Kerrigan. Good start once the guns are up for G2, at least opening the rounds, but they've had a large amount of trouble closing them out. MBK does get Guardian, that's through the inside of the vent. That will allow Rain to rotate back, having gotten Body, but he's got to cover off both positions now as a result of it. Hasn't yet called for the rotation of his only teammate left in this round, Nico in the AWP. But knowing that Rain exists in B, he'll take Sunny Skies at A, knowing that it's wide open as well by pushing Apex all the way down toward the truck. Just Rain left. This should be G2's first round. Never more needed than... I say that, and Apex can't land the shot. Never more needed than now, however, as money was about to dwindle away.
Well, it's up to Rain to try and pick things up here. Might as well go for it. They've got lots of money in the bank. He'll take down MBK. That's a lovely shot. Finds his 3rd kill of the round. Kenny S, now with the AK-47 in hand, holds strong towards CD1. Looks like it's going to work out perfectly. Rain doesn't have time to check that position. Comes down to a 1 versus 1, though. So, yes, G2 win the round, but their money is dwindling fast. Same story for FaZe, really. They've been kept relatively modest here. They'll have a full buy, but this will be the last of it. And as you can see, they have no helmets on 4 players and no defuse kits to speak of whatsoever. So if G2 can indeed win this round, they'll be right back on track. So they'll be bringing out 1 Galil, a UMP, both teams clutching at straws, and the firepower and the utility. Kenny S.O. with the AWP saving the previous round. He'll make his way towards A main, and it looks like he might get a bit of aggression here. Guardian looking to challenge. This is always a classic duel. Kenny S versus Guardian. Lovely shot though. Takes out MBK, trying to swing towards the A main, and they'll commit to the A side at this point, trying to take down Guardian, but Nico just completely ravishes 2 opponents there. Kenny S still alive though, towards the forklift, 4-on-1 situation now. And It'll be dropped finally by Olaf Meister. So that's going to be double eco territory for the G2 side. 5-1 overall. And as you can see, 4 players sub $2,000. They might as well force by this one. They're going to be double eco regardless. They got 1 player, I believe, who could have bought a bit more. I think that was Shoxy or maybe Kenny S. And he'll just be saving his money for future endeavors, I would say. Carrigan on the MP9. Let's see what these CZs can do.
Flash through. Ooh, grenade.
Yep.
Do have armor. Does do significant damage to both Kenny and Body. This smoke from Rain's interesting. He's actually going to get closer to it. He's blocking them. I don't think they realize that they've bounced off each other. So Rain's in a different spot than he anticipated. That's going to catch him off. And all of our kill feed has switched to numbers corresponding with players. It's Kerrigan, number 2. That's apparently getting all of the kills. I've never seen this graphical glitch before. And 5 plus 4 gets 6. That is not what 5 plus 4. That equals 9.
No, it's 10, obviously. Oh, I mean 9. Yeah. It's a joke.
It's good. Yeah, definitely playing that joke that quickly in your head.
But we'll see whether we'll have a pause here. We're just going to keep going with the confusion that is the numbers.
Well, they correspond, obviously, with the observer numbers. I never call out the 2-man or whatever, but I'll try to be more attentive to it this time.
We can work it out knowing where they play. So maybe it's just a new challenge for us. New studio, new challenges. In more ways than one. We'll see what happens.
We are challenged individuals.
Yes. Glocks, PD50s, not going too well for G2 so far. The only round they've won is with 1 player surviving. It was Kenny S clutch. Not so much a clutch. He was holding towards CD spawn. Didn't really have to outbrain anyone. He hold his position and he wasn't checked. Didn't have to do anything too flashy. The bomb was already down for himself. Glocks, PD50s, and we'll see. Apex can do anything here. Carrigan certainly can. Number 2 manages to take 2 down. There you go. It all works, really. 1 plus 2 equals 8. 5 to 7. And it's a clean sweep for FaZe. 7 to 1.
I think someone
all the
should
numbers.
Put together... Oh, are we switching it now, are we?
We're going to... There you go. Breaking the 4th wall here.
The 4th... I break every wall.
Yeah.
I'm a bull in a china shop, Hank. 7-1 for FaZe in all of this. If that's some numbers that are factual. Someone should take all the numbers in the kill feed and see if they can come up with like a number 23 sort of conspiracy.
Oh, see what we can do. I'll get the boys on it.
You and the boys. NBK working with Apex toward A site. Passive A. Looks like retake potential. They're getting a little bit closer. They're going to put Olaf inside behind Red at least. He won't switch to quad. He can't afford to. He doesn't have the position to do so, but it's Nico that's up front that sprays them all down, and his name certainly shows back up. He'll get dropped in the end. Won't get the ace, but Olaf collects the final kill. And it was all due to good positioning from Nico. I didn't see the smoke, if that was thrown by him or not, to spray into. I think it was actually deployed by Olaf on his way into the site. Either way, it worked out brilliantly.
And remember, Shoxy is in injury mode right now. He's got surgery coming up from 2 for 9. 1 for 9 for Body. It's not looking too good overall for the French side. That was a fast I wouldn't even call it execution, just commitment very quickly there. They didn't check the platform area and got completely sprayed down. You can see the 3rd kill. Nico didn't even have to really do much about it. So he had about all the time in the world to find the frags. It's another eco now as Rain pushes aggressively here. He'll be kills all day long. Might struggle here of MBK. Takes care of him eventually. 2 for him. Nico chimes in, of course, and this is looking like a very convincing round for FaZe. 2 players towards middle now. Kerrigan low HP, but at this point they don't really need to challenge. Yes, and Apex know their days are numbered as Guardian finds yet another frag. Seems to be more comfortable on Cash these days. Remember when he was in Na'Vi, they didn't actually play this map. It was their go-to veto for many years. So he had to learn this map on a professional level when he joined FaZe. It was actually in Pro League. He actually had his first showing on it last season, and you could see him struggling. But seems like it's all coming together now. As we get into round number 11, still fine, believe it or not. 9-1's a horrible scoreline, but G2 can come back with a 9-6. That's still possible. The Krieg's out for MBK once again, so they are trying to make this a thing, it seems. With their little bit of downtime from the major, they've brought the Krieg out. Only $300 more than the AK-47, but for me, still not really worth that expense.
It's a nice pair of sunglasses in the first world. Could have bought those instead with the $300.
Yeah, that's true.
Kenny S gonna watch towards Z.
There it is.
Spot below. Can he get the kill? You still didn't get one with it. You were so
I'm
excited.
ready just for one kill with the Krieg.
A $300 assist.
There we go. Nico comes in. He is having an absolute barn burner right now. Carrigan. I don't think we're making that frag. That's a poor challenge from him.
There you go. That's it. It
There
got it
is.
that time.
No headshot, but spraying wildly through the white boxes. It will be a 4-on-3. Rain still alive. He's only some deadly here, but not deadly enough. MBK looking good now with the Krieg. Finds a couple of kills this round. Straight towards CT spawn. No one in the B bomb site. At the Guardian to rotate through. See if he can deny anything here. But he's been smoked off. Go for the wall bangs. He might nail a bit of damage here, but they know what he's up to.
Maybe this is what Biawi should have done. He should have picked up the Krieg. Because then it would be like playing PUBG.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. Is that one of his things? He was a big PUBG player?
Yeah, that was sense. I am too. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess there is when you have an obligation elsewhere. But yeah. Body. He'll take down Nico. As Guardian's the last alive, he'll sit on the outskirts of the site trying to catch off anyone going hunting for him. He wants to save the AWP. 9-1. And finally, G about to get 2. Just Shocks going down. 2 kills for the Krieg.
Yep. Mark him up. And it will be Guardian desperately trying to 70 AWP. I think he might still take damage from that area with the bomb blast, so he'll have to move on. He's just trying to negate terrorists at this point. Don't miss that shot. Sometimes they're the hardest ones in the back. As he flashes towards MBK, he'll surely take care of him now. The flashbang's good, and the no-scope's even better. He won't be able to survive, though, but he does cause significant damage to the financial situation of G2 there. Lovely work. And G2 finally making that Krieg come good, and we'll find 2 frags there. An impressive one towards the vent as well, called Rain jumping up. As we get into round number 12, money's still strong for FaZe. Even after its investment, we've got 3 players, 4 maybe. Guardian with 8k after buying his AWP. Double AWP setup. Round number 12. Smokes will come through. And we're going to have a B approach here. I think that's worked for them. Let's just keep running it.
Getting closer. They just get around the corner. Rain the next line. He's going to flash himself through the smoke. MBK gets the trade 1 for 1. Arguably not working on the CT side. Shocks gets Kerrigan. And kill feed popped up at the exact same time that Guardian fired off a shot. I thought maybe he got lucky in the smoke, but so far not the case.
I think G2 is starting to realize now that where Kerrigan is, that's where you're going to find the frags to open things up. But now 3-on-3. Nico the AWP, good flashbangs from G2. Guardian done for. Oh, I shouldn't doubt him ever, should I? As he takes another close range kill. Kenny S still alive though, and all of Meister. Good flank coming through. It's up to the aforementioned French sniper to step up here. Still has a minute to work with, and the bomb on his back will flash in. Try and challenge Guardian. That could actually be the opening, but actually flashes himself. It's getting all kinds of awkward here in round number 12. P250 could pay dividends here as he jumps up on the bomb site. As can't find Guardian, who's just toying with him right now. Flashbang's good, and there it is. The killing blow comes in as Kenny S goes down, and another reset, I'm afraid, Matt, for the French side. Those kills you talked about earlier with Guardian saving towards CD spawn, they become very important now as his money's just not going to be there. Close range kill was excellent, and then the flashbangs from his teammates kept him alive. They might just force fire this again, I'm not sure. They've got 4,200 on Kenny. Looks like they'll take a partial buy. Oh no, they are on it. I take it all back. Every single dollar, apart from Apex, is got to round number 13 here. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Rain. Again, flirting with the aggression of B main as a smoke down deep. And he'll take advantage of that to try and get towards Sunroom. They'll be aware of the fact that he could do so. Even still body walks and it gets found. Now they know he's there, but they still have to win the angle. They may elect to look elsewhere with the pistols in the meantime. Certainly mid, seemingly, that place. Apex shut down. Kerrigan again. They can bully him all he likes, but when he has an M4 and they've only got pistols, he's going to get 2 and then go down, I guess. Get all 3, but does enough damage. Nico will. Just Shocks remaining. Has the bomb. Be amazing if he could get it planted at least for his team. He's picked up an M4. He's still got 50 HP. Got armor to go with that, but he's got a bit of a problem on the other side of the smoke in the form of Nico, and he's read it well.
Well, there we go. It will be Nico to finish things off. That was the force buy, remember. There's no money once again. This is looking like a 13-2 half all day long against Kerrigan. As I said, he was quite weak towards when against the pistols. It seems pretty handy. There will be another force buy from the French side. Like we said, it's pretty desperate times out there. CZs across the board, a couple of bits of utility. 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs. And he'll go towards that beast, but again, I would imagine it will be Apex holding in T-spawn. Two players towards middle who'll just try and challenge here. Very defensive play from the CT forces in middle. Just Carrigan there as he looks tentatively towards the vent. They've already made it through. Tees not taking any damage so far. They'll be guarded, trying to hold them off. Good incendiary to buy himself some time as he focuses towards the main entrance. Nades will come through as well. Significant damage deployed now. Carrigan rotates in, and now Rain just got a shooting gallery in front of him. Same story for Guardian as the bomb is dropped.
Good shot. Back out. Easily lines up Apex. To get one shot in between, took down again. Carrigan, you're right. They're picking on Carrigan.
Yeah, just try and go. He's playing middle either by himself or with a couple of players. They're kind of banking on the fact he could be there by himself. He is the weakest fragger. I don't think anyone would argue that on the FaZe side. So try and focus on him. Pound for pound, most G2 can take him down. As we get into the final round, though, this is not looking good, is it? CZs, a Scout, and an AK-47. This is going to be 13-2. And not the best showing of the inaugural game here in Pro League Season 7 from G2. But we'll see if they can pick up the last round. There's always a chance with the CZs. Still a very controversial weapon, I'd say, in CSGO right now. Like, the CZ is still a bit too powerful. Like, the other pistols don't really get a look in. You do see more of the Deagle these days, but the CZ still being cheaper is a lot more prevalent in the game. Apex is predicting that boost coming in. Does manage to do a little bit of damage there, but that's all he'll get. Time is running out, though, as Olof Meister steps up and takes down the only AK they had.
Nico looking for the smoke to
Rain
dissipate, but as he does, you're dead right. Rain has already pushed around. He got aggressive time and time again in B main, and in doing so, he's opened up a world of possibilities that allow for the flank. 13-2. FaZe is starting off Pro League, I think, with the best foot forward, Henry.
They absolutely are. Not too bad whatsoever. Remember, if you're just joining us, you missed the analysis desk. Shoxy is injured right now. I guess maybe take that with a pinch of salt until he has his surgery. I guess he's still able to play until that point. He'll probably be in some pain. As the guys mentioned earlier, it's actually, funnily enough, it's actually Guardian and Olofmeister who've been plagued with similar issues in the past, and Olofmeister dropped off significantly in that period. He's kind of, since he joined FaZe, he's much better at this point, but here's the scoreboard. At the top for G2 will indeed be Kenny S. At the bottom, it will be Apex. Pretty much everyone on FaZe land fragging right now, and that's why the score leads 13-2.
Well, you say as well that Carrigan may not be the top fragger, but in picking on him, they've allowed him to accumulate 120 ADR.
Yes.
It's not bad. Swap it over, do it again. G2 needs to win the pistol.
Just to comment on that, he had a lot of eco frags towards middle, and that's
Sure.
why ADR can be a misleading statistic.
It's the same with the RWS, right?
Yeah.
It was when we used to run that stat. Unfortunately, I think that stat specifically being implemented into the ESCA client, which for years was, you know, the proving ground for upcoming players. People put so much emphasis on that stat, they actually became worse team players because they were so focused on individual contribution and selfish plays. Look at that double boost.
Oof. Well,
MBK walks out and they're already over top. This is brilliant. They've read it well, but Shock still holds on and controls mid. This gives them a chance for the retake because Body now has Guardian down, and Kerrigan's aware of it, needs to get toward A main just to hold off the flank, and Apex spots him going from the forklift. So they've got information as to where one is. Likely the other one's still stuck inside of the site. They'll double press toward Kerrigan, and G2 will pick up this pistol, I'm sure of it.
well, Shoxy's his wrist seems a lot stronger this round, at least.
I've got
Maybe
weak wrists,
taking,
if you know what I
maybe
mean.
taking a few leaps out of your book. You've got a very strong right wrist from what I've heard. As we get
Just
into
the right one.
as we get into
I play tennis.
Shoxy doing a great job here with the USP. Yes, you are an avid tennis player. That's what I was getting at. And it will be 13-3. G2 fighting back, and the bomb was planted, so maybe they'll do AKs in the third. Looks like that will be the play here. Taking just a couple of pistols here. Carrigan with the Deagle. As you can see, they've got money for the next round. They'll be able to bring out AK-47s and armor and basic utility. As a rifle focus from GT, that's the way you want to play when you know the bomb's down in the pistol. You want to try and negate this round best you can, keep 5 players alive, go for the rifles instead of the utility, and prepare yourself for round number 3. So that's exactly what GT are doing right now. I like that a lot. They're definitely a team that doesn't follow, I guess, what you should be doing, quote unquote, in terms of like the biggest way or the highest percentage to win rounds. So they like to play their own game and go for a lot of force buys. I'm sure that's no news to anyone. As FaZe walking towards the A site, obviously no utility to use here, just looking to trade frags best they can. It'll be a G2 round all day long, and Shoxy and Body and Kenny S all find frags. Don't get too excited about this one. It's the next round we're looking to really get stuck into, as Olofmeister catches Apex in the rotation there. He's got a flashbang. They'll drop in a right click. Might be able to get one more kill out of this. That's not too bad at all. Extra money. That's $600 now. 900 total from this round. So throws up a pistol, makes it look like a flashbang. Just looking for any kills he get. He can't win the round for sure. Thinks one more player there. That's Kenny S, but can't find the frag. He'll actually have a lot of money for the next round. As you can see, Olofmeister there, it is 4,800. He can drop an AWP if he really wanted to. I doubt they will. He could give that to Guardian, but Guardian's been a little bit silly and just gone all in of his AK purchase. He could have just bought armor, and then Olof could have dropped the AWP. That could have been nice, and then he could drop back an AK-47. But those go for 5 AKs, also fine.
5 AKs is great.
Yes.
In many ways. It certainly can be aggressive, assertive, acceleration, something along the lines of speed that starts today for the sake of alliteration, but Rain's going to take down Body as they push back through. Still, Kenny S gives them the one-sided kill, the unanswered so far, 4 versus 3. He's tagged to 21. Legal drinking age everywhere. BK will get Kerrigan as well. It's still going to be G2 standing firm on this defensive side, so FaZe have their work cut out for them to close the game. Just 3 rounds needed, but it's going to take them a while to get there. Good frag back from Rain. He'll catch off Shocks. This flank is everything. A UMP, decent range. That's actually, oh, okay, fair enough. I was gonna say that's close enough. He should be able to take him down, no problem. The fact that they've let this slide brought it even to a 2 versus 2, opening up the map to 2 very, very good players in Nico and Rain. They've brought it now down to just 1 remaining. Kenny will get bombed. I don't think he's aware of it though.
He would have got the notification on the radar, so he knows, but has Nico picked it up, he'll be... Oh, he thinks he's watched that gap now. He hasn't realized Nico's already crossed. He might push through this smoke. This could actually be a big deal. Kenny S thinks he's got full vision here and knows exactly what's going on.
Smart.
Yeah. Okay, well now he might consider the option that he's crossed over. Making a bit of noise here. And he'll check it. So he knows Nico is there. 1 bullet will do it. And it's to nail it. Both players low HP. Kenny S coming out on top. 3 kills in total. Good clutch from him. Rain, we didn't see his shots, but they sounded crispy as hell as he looked from A main towards heaven and indeed CT spawn. Money getting to an okay position now for G2. The rounds are close, but this should be an eco from the FaZe side. We've got a game on our hands. This could be all the rounds as Kenny S finds his 16th frag. The only player really kicking off now on the French side. Just a full eco here from FaZe. PT50s. Rain's got a deagle. He got a couple of frags in the previous round. I think he got 3 in total. So he gets an extra $900. So that's actually enough to justify the deagle and the residual cast for a bit of armor as well. He takes a nade to the face. So does Olofmeister. But that deagle paying off already. Finds 1. Spots MBK. Can't find the 2nd kill.
Okay. Still with the angle. Bring off from headshot with the weapon and at the advantage. Chonks is pushed up, takes down Kerrigan again. He's gone low though. HP low though, more so for Olaf and Guardian. We can look for that deagle to make amends in such situations. Unfortunately not to be this time, just a mere fraction of health. Take it away from MBK, who gets the shot in return. So round should go to G2. They'll cut the lead almost in half at 13-6. Guardian with bomb towards Squeaky. Could get a plant. I think that's best case scenario given that they're playing very passively toward the A site.
Nico and Guardian. Not really much to work with here. Nico, Desert Eagle. Goes for the headshots in middle but won't find anything. And oh, just be Guardian. He might even get the bomb down here. He'll be very close. You can see Shoxy picking him up. Actually get the plant in. That's enough. That's fine. With the loss bonus coming in, they'll have plenty of money. They can give a double ops on T side if they really wanted to. I doubt they will. They just want to play a usual standard gun round going into the next one. It's 13-6 though. G2 starting to arrive here after going on 5-0. And we'll have a look. 4-0, I beg your pardon. But ball comes out for Guardian. Currently sits on 18 frags, 20 for Rain. No surprises there. Nico just in front of Kerrigan, they're on 15. Guardian looks like he might be going for a fast pick here towards A main. Looking for anyone going aggressive. Sits in the corner. He doesn't have to hold those awkward angles. And Apex flashed through this. Very aggressive fight here. Surely goes down. He's on 10 HP. Desperately scrambles away. Kenny S, I love this. This is why Cash is so fun to watch. Good angle held. Nico even tried to flash here, but too quick. Kenny S takes him down. 5-on-4. So they're applying pressure there towards Squeaky. and the B bomb side there. So CT's not messing around whatsoever. They want to just keep throwing different strategies into the mix and see whether they can open things up. They did certainly towards the squeaky door. One of the key players for FaZe going down. Nico dropped, and MBK, AK-47 in hand, wants to try and find the next pick.
Okay, not quite in position where he wanted to be behind the box to align himself, and Rain catches him off a bit early on his arrival. Tagged, but that won't make much of a difference considering walking to the site. Could make a difference if the spray is successful from Apex walking through the smoke. In fact, he's done massive amount of damage to Kerrigan as well, who now sits at 12 HP. Olaf still makes the bomb successful in getting to default. Immediately he should peek toward heaven as well. Flash comes through, no one else will be able to support the peek, but if he spots them walking in, he'll have good position. Kenny's waiting for his teammates to get out of the way so he can get a shot with the op, but that may not happen at all. Olaf with 2, Guardian to hold the angle and back off Apex. It's going to be 14 rounds finally for FaZe.
Apex with the low HP from the previous push. He'll be left in an impossible situation now, just looking for any exit frags he can get at this point. Knows he can't win, but if he can find a couple of kills on the retreat, that would be something. But now decides to save the AWP. Good call, and he will go down eventually. Olaf Meister finds him. Good finish there after losing the first pick. FaZe focus towards the B bomb site, managing to overwhelm MBK on the side itself. Guardian hitting some key AWP shots as we get into round number 6. It will be touching distance now for FaZe to find map and indeed match point. Forced buy here from G2 as they'll go with a CZ, a FAMAS, 1 AWP for Shoxy with no armor, not even giving that to Kenny. He'll be holding it himself. So I'll look towards middle as it looks like a default round coming from FaZe. We'll ascertain what kind of buy they're up against first. They can almost guarantee it'll be a force. G2 can't afford to go down to match point this early on. So they'll do everything they can to hold FaZe at bay here. Not a single kit. 4 players are helmets, and Shoxy without any sort of armor whatsoever.
Smoke off. So Shox won't be able to get the op shot he's looking for. Kenny's already rotating back his direction, so... Oh, well, maybe not. I thought it was going to be a here you go, good sir. And then take the gun and move on. Transition.
Well, let's see if it works out for him. As round number 6 will be very indicative as to where this game is going. 50 seconds remaining, and Shoxy looking towards the highway. Nice smoke, though, from FaZe to block his vision away. Carrigan holds his back, though, and that will come back to haunt him. Shoxy pushes through the smoke, had to make something happen there. He's the only player with the AWP. No armor. It was a brave play to make, and Apex can't get anything done with the CZ-75. MBK hold in the corner now. Actually gets 2 frags in total. That is enough to win the round. It was a desperate buy from G2, but one that works out for them. And then some. Shoxy with 2, MBK as well, fighting strong in the corner. 14-7. It's not going to knock FaZe down to Nico just yet, but it keeps G2 alive.
Alive and, well-ish.
Yeah. Actually, MBK with 3. That was actually very fast play from him. So I was playing from FaZe. They could have bought into this round, but they're 14-7 up, right? They don't need to give anything away. Let's just make sure we win it properly. Just not wreck our own economy. Take an eco here. There's always a chance you can win these rounds with the FaZe players and Deagles. You know what they're like. If not, you've got great money. You just want to try and find some kills this round. Maybe get a bomb plant down.
Well, and specifically speaking as well for G2, they're going to be fighting as tough as they can to get back into this game because they're going to be losing Shox after this week, and they want to get as many points in Pro League as they can before such time. FaZe also want to get a good start because we've seen teams suffer from slow starts in Pro League in previous seasons. Obviously, could talk over this round. Guns dominating the pistols. So, 14-8. We'll see what's brought to the table in the next round from FaZe. Just to touch on that, though, how close has some of the last few seasons been for deciding matches and tiebreakers and situations along those lines?
Teams like Astralis haven't made it before, and they're like some of the analysts' favorites going into this season. So, like, even the top teams, they're like you said, they're the slow start. Things can fall apart. It just takes a couple of teams doing well, you dropping a couple of key matches, and it can all go horribly wrong. I think it was Envious that denied Astralis the spot a couple of seasons ago. So look out for that. It's always quite an exciting finish to the towards.
There's always one unexpected team in there too that is the dark horse, sort of the saboteur of shutting down other teams and breaking hearts and chances and all that good stuff. MBK will back off. A little bit more aggressive this time toward A from G2's perspective. Very much passive middle now that Apex especially has vacated on the UMP.
Indeed. Well, another 5-on-4, but FaZe won their first gun round here in a very similar situation. Guardian boosted up with the AWP, but still applying the pressure on every facet of the map. It's going to be G2, and finding the opening kills. This is much better. They started on the CT side. They could have had a really excellent game going forward. I still think it's too little too late, but 5-on-3 for now. Rain tagged up slightly, but he does have mid control. Smoke towards the connector position. They're going to go for a B split eventually. You can see Guardians with him. Not an ideal spot with the AWP as they wait for the flames to die down there. Apex to the UMP once again. If he just gets one kill here, it's round secured. Goes down with nothing. That could be troublesome. The AWP being dropped, and another clean sweep from G2. That's very likely at this point. There it is. Apex swings out, takes down Carrigan. 14-9, and it should be a FaZe eco here. Indeed it is. They'll be on about $2,500 per player. And G2 looking for double digits. As we say, in terms of the mental game, as soon as you get to double digits, the chase is really on. You know they're at your toes now. They can actually be closing in as they have to take another eco. And it will be CZs, PD50s, Deagles, no armor, no nades, and FaZe might just go for something a lot more simple here. Just go up towards A and try and trade some frags, but looking likely to be double digits.
Shocks all the way up, but underneath the drop room. Or drop, not room, but position. It's not cobblestone.
Good play from Shoxy there.
Yeah.
Saw the players boosted up. He doesn't need that kill. He knows they'll need it right now. Fall back and good trades coming through. Body and Shoxy the AK-47. They've actually got 3 AKs on the CT side now. It means a map like Cash especially, man, that's excellent. Because as we see from G2 right now, lots of options at the start of the round. You've got Squeaky Door, Boost, Middle, B-bomb site. You can push all these positions. The AK-47, you can do it even more so. You've got one-tap potential. You can hold more aggressive angles, and back players up like Kenny, you want to go for the aggressive pick. So this is where G2 become really dangerous. Remember, FaZe can still give this game up. Like, there's a chance from what we've seen so far on the T side. We haven't seen any set pieces yet. Lots of defaults. They're losing the first frag time and time again. This is not looking good. I think they need to slow things down. Why they haven't taken a pause yet, I don't know. They need to just take a pause and realize, do a default into a set piece. Let's give that a go, because so far, plays like this are working every single time, but finally Olaf Meister shuts him down.
I thought Kenny had that one dead to rights. Good push back from Apex, though, and he nearly gets 2 for it. Rain just barely pushed up behind the box.
Very aggressive play from G2, but it's been working so far. This could be where it all goes wrong for them.
Nico trying to get a read of what's going on inside of the site with sound cues. Bobby again with attack, and this, yes, absolutely, you're right. The aggression this round is completely shut down. Guardian to take out Shocks. This should be the map point, the penultimate point for FaZe Clan at this point in time, as MBK, last alive, has to rotate back over. Low enough damage onto both Guardian and Rain that he could do something with it, but not against Nico. If he had found that kill fast enough, perhaps it was all manageable. 10 to 15.
Yeah, that makes things a little bit more problematic now. So, G2...
Reset potential, though, keep in mind.
That's true. They can win this round cleanly. They should send FaZe to a double eco as long as they don't get the bomb down. They've actually got 3k residual. It's actually not too bad for them. So they have to win a couple of rounds in a row to really shut them down here. But FaZe looking to close this one out, of course. They'll have 5 AK-47s. Guardian can't quite afford the AWP just yet. Shoxy looking to get in that Squeaky Door from what I can see. Maybe a boost instead. We'll see what they decide to go for. Indeed, it's aggression once again. Need to get on that position as Nico finds Shoxy. Body will take down Nico. That's a good trade for the T's coming in. Once again, G2 pushing the envelope here. Trying to get those opening picks again towards middle of the boost. They just don't want to take a pause here for a second. They're not holding up in default positions whatsoever. And it will be a 4-on-3. And FaZe have a chance to close this one out.
Made over, does damage. Rain's touched by that. And not the Harvey Weinstein way, I meant emotionally. As Rain will hold off toward A main. Body's also got an angle toward the doorway. Watch for cross. Smoke's not in position just yet. In fact, Body's going to flash, but no one's going to push, so it'll just hold them at bay with the Molotovs going down as well. It'll deplete that Molotov in timing. 7 seconds, that'll be gone. They won't have the angle covered off quite so cleanly as they would have liked on entrance. And MBK's actually found Olaf more middle. In fact, he may get more. Oh, just barely. Guardian finds the kill. If you had won that, I would have thought easily they could have won the round, pulled it back for the G2 side, but now it looks less likely. HP's still low enough that Body takes down Guardian. Kerrigan's the one with the bomb. They have to get into the plant. 29 seconds to do so, but they'll rush that. They'll hurry it up because Kenny's not yet in position. There's only 1 HP for Body. Even the shadow of a bullet would do damage at this point in time. Good shot. Kenny Rain gone. And somehow, they make it work.
They do indeed. The bomb will be easily defused there, and G2, they get themselves another lifeline here. Body stepping up tremendously. 3 kills in total with the AK-47. Kenny S now finding another AWP, and it will be FaZe. Like we said, the bomb goes down, they're still okay for another buy. So still with a chance here as Guardian brings out the AWP once again. He's on 22 frags, Rain 25. The Carrigan hasn't really got a frag this half at all. I think he finished the first half on 12. So he's been somewhat absent here. Rain has to just take a compromise with the CZ75 going to another 12 here. So this is the round for G2. This is the one that really matters. If there's a chance of overtime, this is it. Olaf Meister is rushing A now. A good fast call. And it's going to be up to FaZe to try and find the opening picks. Body does get one in return, though. Good incendiary throw, but they've already crossed the bomb site. So the plant should come in relatively easily. Flames just about touching him there after the plant comes in. It's looking like this could be the end.
We said that last time.
Well, this time I'm almost certain this time.
Yeah, bomb down with a well-established 4-man hold in the post plant against just NBK and Shocks. Shocks trying to wait for MBK, get toward Truck, and then when he does, he's already gone. Shocks best served to have just gone alone. He's got 2 now, 1 versus 4. They know roughly where he is by approximation. I said bomb was already down, my mistake. They just got to that now, but Olaf takes out Shocks. We are done. It's game 1. Remember, these all count as best of 1, so that is a straight win for FaZe in the Pro League. Good way to start. And G2, as we mentioned, going to be losing Shocks. Not exactly what they would have hoped for this evening.
No, I think that's a very good point you made there. They really needed to post some wins here with Shoxy available, but it was just too slow of a start from them. Didn't really seem like they were ready in the first half, but much more promising in the second. Hopefully they can bring that sort of form into the next map coming up here tonight. But for me, FaZe has looked much better. But it was still, like I said, it's nice to see G2 at least still trying the hardest in the second half and making it a close game.
And I think that you're right. Given that it is 2 separate best of 1s building into this next game, that is